to start a new topic, a compound interest. Now, when we hear about this word compound interest, that compound word, you've heard it so many times in your life. We live in a compound of JJ Builders, that kind of a name you've also heard of. My house compound is very big, and I am doing farming in my compound. So, when you talk about that compound, a separate kind of a figure comes in your mind. And of course, you've heard of the name compound a lot, that when you make a compound of chlorine and hydrogen, it becomes a hydrochloric acid, a compound, right? Compound in chemistry. And when you don't answer my calls, when you don't fill the links which I send you, then you compound your problems, increase your problems. So that a compound is a different thing. So when I read about compound, then lot of things come in your mind, and likewise interest gives a lot of understanding in your mind. What is interest? My interest is playing games. Playing lot of games, you see, watching Doraemon or watching cartoons. Any kind of a cartoon will do. So my interest, and I may have a varied interest. I may have certain interest which I might not like to share with anyone. So when I talk about this word compound interest, in one go, it gives me a feeling that, okay, we are doing mathematics, compound interest, something something has to deal with money. Bacteria can even compound interest. Do compound. Coronavirus these days, see, when 1 and 1 make it 11, like a shooting happening in my area, and they compounded the problem in this area. They increased the viruses to the local people, and it's increasing again. So you should wear a mask. So when I talk about compound interest, there are two type of interest in your life at this level. Class 9 you must have learnt of is a simple interest, and maybe in the lower class you have heard of compound interest, I suppose. Do you?
Yes, sir.
So
Yes, sir.
interest may be broadly divided into the simple interest and the compound interest.
Compound
I
interest.
name it as CI and SI. SI meaning simple interest, CI meaning compound interest. When it is simple, it is really very simple for you to calculate the interest, and that is equal to
PRT upon
30
100.
upon 100.
where I stands for the simple interest. I have not written SI here because for the obvious reason I'll let you know in a while. Otherwise, in your book you might find it as SI. But
Yes, sir.
interest is equal to PRT upon 100 for 1 year, whether it is a compound interest or a simple interest. That is, interest has a universal application. That is, I is always equal to PRT upon 100, where P stands for the principal which you have borrowed, R is the rate for that particular time period, and T is the time period. Now this T, we obviously usually take it in years, provided that rate is given per annum per year. But this actually T is the time period for which the rate is defined. If rate is defined for 6 months, then time period of 6 months is taken as 1. If rate is given for 2 years, that is 10% for 2 years, 10% not per annum, 10% interest in 2 years, then time of 2 years is taken as 1 time period. Well, you will not find those questions in your book maybe. Usually what happens is rate is given only in per annum and time is only in years. So therefore in our mind we make it that R is the rate per annum and T is the time in years, but T actually is the time period. And what we do is, if the number of years goes on increasing, say a man has got 100 rupees loan taken of 100 rupees by somebody, then he asks for that loan and he gets the loan at a rate of 10%. So if he takes that loan for 1 year, at the end of 1 year he will give back 100 rupees as well as 10% of 100 rupees. That is, you can see 100 into 10 into 1 over 100, and 100 cancels. 10 into 1, that is 10. He gives 100 and 10 rupees back as the amount. So actually amount is what? Amount is Principal plus interest. This is
Sir,
what you have,
principal
basic
plus
concept you've
interest.
learned in the lower classes, I hope. So
Yes, sir.
at
Yes,
the end
sir.
of 1 year, you return 110 rupees. If you don't return, then you say, sir, I don't have money right now, I can return it after 2 years maybe. So then you need to return only 100 rupees which you have borrowed, 10 rupees as the interest for the first year, and 10 more rupees as the interest for the second year under simple interest. And you've been doing this for ages. If it is for 3 years, you will be returning 130 rupees. If 4 years, you will be giving 140 rupees, and so on. Now, what about this 10 rupee which you have kept with yourself and not paid any interest on? This is taken care of in compound interest. Now see, the same story with a new version, 2.0, interest 2.0, that is compound interest. You borrowed 100 rupees at the rate of 10%. This time, the person who is lending you the money has become intelligent. He says, okay, after 1 year, how much you will return? You will say, sir, I will return 100 rupees plus 10 rupees. As here also, A is equal to P plus I. And here also I is equal to PRT upon 100. That is 100
Yes,
into
sir.
10 into 1
Sir,
upon 100. So
100
this
into
formula
10
has been
into 1
applied
upon 100.
everywhere. See, this formula has been applied everywhere, not only in the simple interest but also in the compound interest. This formula
Yes,
for
sir.
interest is applied everywhere for 1 year. If time is 1 year or time is one time period, then this formula holds equally well for both simple interest as well as compound interest. So see, 10 rupees, here also you were having 10 rupees, here also you are having 10 rupees for 1 year. You need to pay 110 rupees to him, whether under SI, whether under CI. But now, there's a problem here. You say, I don't have a money, sorry, I will return you after 2 years. Then, what is going to happen? Now, moment you say, sir, I will pay you 100 rupees plus 10 rupees plus 10 rupees more, 120 rupees. Sir, no, wait. No, what about this 10 rupees? You have to pay me the interest on this 10 rupees as well. So now actually what is you're paying is this 100 rupees which you are holding and this 10 rupees which you are holding at the end of 1 year, and the interest on this 100 rupees as 10 rupees, and also the interest on this 10 rupees for 1 year, that is 1 rupee. So you are actually returning him 121 rupees against this 120 rupees which are returned under simple interest.
Yes,
Sir,
sir.
not understood.
So why on 10?
I have not explained anything yet. I am just building a story right now here. So what I am trying to suggest, trying to make a difference in your mind is, under simple interest, you got 100 rupees, 10 rupees as the interest of the first year, and 10 more rupees as the interest of the second year. Nothing happened in the second year. The amount of money you were holding, that is, you were holding 100 rupees as well as 10 rupees. You were holding this money. But you got interest of 10 rupees only for this 100 rupee. Nothing happened for this rupees 10. You holded it for free. You didn't give anything for it. Isn't it? Now here the lender has become intelligent. Lender says, okay, after 1 year if you are returning, it's okay, 110 rupees you are returning. But if you are returning at the end of the second year, then you obviously have to return me the 100 rupees and the 10 rupee and pay me the interest for 1 year on this 100 rupee, which is 10 rupee. What about this
Sir,
10? What about this 10?
Sir, he takes interest on 10 rupee only.
Yeah,
10 rupees also.
I mean 100 rupees का interest तो उसने ले लिया ना 10 रुपी. अभी भी ये 10
Yes,
रुपया
sir.
बचा है जिसके बारे में कुछ भी नहीं हो रहा था पिछली बार सिंपल इंटरेस्ट के अंतर्गत. लेकिन अभी यू नीड टू पे दिस इंटरेस्ट पे इंटरेस्ट, यानी कि फर्स्ट ईयर का जो इंटरेस्ट है वो भी अनइंटरेस्टेड नहीं जाएगा, उस पर भी आपको इंटरेस्ट देना पड़ेगा. दैट इज नॉट दिस 10 रुपी यूजिंग दिस फॉर्मूला 10 into 10 into 1. So 10 into 10 is 100 and 100 cancels. 1 upon 1, that is 1. So that 1 rupee has taken birth from this 10 rupee. And therefore you need to return 121 rupee. Now, why this has happened? Why this difference is happening? Because it is compounding. Compounding has started. That is, had it been, I have still not explained anything, mind you. Had it been 3 years, so you owe him, and you have not returned him a single pie. So you owe him 100 rupee.
Sir, 100 plus 10.
You owe him that 10 rupee which you were holding, and now you are also holding this 11 rupee.
Sir, plus 11.
So you are holding this much money. You need to pay not only this much money but also the interest on this much money. So calculating it differently, separately is quite difficult, isn't it? तो आई विल गिव यू द वे आउट कि 100 रुपीज़ पे तो भैया 10 रुपीज़ दे रहे हो, 10 रुपीज़ पे तो भैया 1 रुपया दे रहे हो, और अब 11 रुपया पे कितना दे रहे हो, या 11 रुपया को भी अगर तुम 10 रुपया प्लस 1 रुपया कर लो तो ज़्यादा आसान हो जाएगा. तो फिर इस 10 रुपया पे तुम 1 रुपया दे रहे हो, और इस 1 रुपया पे क्या दे रहे हो, 1 रुपया पे तुम 0.1 दे रहे हो. यानी कि यू आर पेइंग ऑल टुगेदर हाउ मच, 100, 10, 20, 30, 33.1, 133.1. That means
Excuse me,
you're
sir.
paying, just give me a second, 10 rupee plus 10 rupee plus 11 rupee plus what, this see,
Sir, 10.
10, 11 and 12.1 rupee. See, interest for the first year is 10. Interest for the second year has increased to 11, and the interest for the third year is still increased to 12.1 in comparison
Yes,
to
sir.
here 100 rupee, 10 rupee, 10 rupee, 10 rupee, and for life 10 rupee. Now, I mean, I have still not explained you anything. I'm just giving you an idea. But you have certain questions on this idea. Please ask fast.
Sir, sir, who is giving money, what interest he will take on 11 rupee?
10% of 11 rupee. Because he was taking 10% of 10 rupee. Because he was taking
Okay, sir.
10% of 100 rupee. So, whatever rate is announced, he will be continuing with that rate. No special rate for you.
Okay, sir.
So, I mean, now, see, this is becoming a little more complicated for you, right? So, how to make it a little simple for you? So, what you have to do here is, when you are into the compound interest, you need not bother about all this 100 rupees per 10 rupees, 10 rupees per 1 rupee, again 10 rupees per 1 rupee, again 1 rupee per 0.1 rupee. I mean, all this is bothering you a lot. And now see how easy this thing becomes for you. What you have to know and remember here to calculate the compound interest is that question will suggest he has to return the amount after 2 years, or after 3 years, or after fourth year. It is not surprise that after 1 year he suddenly wakes up and says, I will not return. Meaning you know that this 100 rupee is at the rate of 10% for maybe say 2 years. So what you are going to do here is, you are going to calculate first of all the I1, that is interest for the first year, using this formula, that is PRT upon 100, and that is this only, that is 100 into 10 into 1 upon 100, and that will come out to be rupees 10. That will come out to be rupees 10. That will come out to be rupees 10. And now, because you know that A is equal to P plus I, so because this P1 is rupees 100, therefore A1 will come out to be P1 plus I1, that is 100 plus 10, that is 110.
110 rupees.
Now, where in case of simple interest, principal once borrowed remained only the sum, that is 100 rupee, because under simple interest आप एक बार जो शुरुआत में मांग लेते हैं वही प्रिंसिपल होता है. कंपाउंड इंटरेस्ट में प्रिंसिपल बोरोड इफ नॉट रिटर्न्ड keeps on increasing, goes on adding up. Compound interest, whatever interest you have calculated, adds up to the principal. That is this 10 rupees, whatever you have earned,
Amount will become the principal. Yes,
this 10
amount
rupees,
will become a principal.
this 10 rupees what you have borrowed, what earned as an interest is added to 100 rupees to make it 110 rupees. That is the amount, and this amount, of course, you people have understood it correctly. This amount at the end of 1 year will become the principal for the second year.
Yes.
That is, principal will increase. Principal will increase. Here the principal was same, 100 rupee, and therefore when the principal was same, interest every year was same. In case of compound interest, the principal for the second year is amount at the end of 1 year, and that is equal to 110 rupees. And therefore when you go on to calculate the interest for the second year, you need to put here the principal of the second year into rate into time upon 100, and therefore this comes out to be 110 into rate is 10% into time is 1 upon 100. And see, now why I made you do that, because now you remember that this comes out to be 11. See, this is how
Yes,
it
sir.
came out to be 11. 10 plus
Yes,
1.
sir.
10 plus 1.
Yes, sir.
100 रुपया पे 10 रुपया, 10 रुपया पे 1 रुपया, यानी 11 रुपया. कैसे आया? ऐसे आया, ऐसे भी आया.
Yes, sir.
So now you can relate. You couldn't have related had I not spoken that to you. So I2 is coming out to be 11, and therefore you can calculate A2 now as P2
Sir,
plus
11
I2.
plus 10.
Sir, P2 plus
That is
I1.
110
Sorry,
110
plus 11.
Plus 11.
plus 11.
Plus 11.
So it comes out to be 1.
Sir,
One
is equal to
121.
Here he was returning 120 rupees at the end of 2 years. He is returning 121 rupees at the end of 2 years. And
Yes, sir.
this amount A2 will become the principal for the third year had it been 3 years.
Yes, sir.
So this will become
Yes,
the
sir.
principal for the third year. That will 121. And if I take this space to solve this for you, because now all this is in your mind, so it need not be on the board anymore. So if I rub it here and see, I continue there, that is P3 is equal to 121. So you can calculate I3 now. That will be equal to P3
Yes, sir.
into rate into time upon 100, and that makes it 121 into rate is 10 into time is 1 upon
10.
100, and from there see you are getting 12.1, the interest for
Yes,
the third
sir.
year. You remember 10 rupees, 11 rupees, 12.1 rupees. So think 12.1 rupees. कैसे आया 12.1 रुपीज? 10 रुपीज पे 10 रुपीज, 10 रुपीज पे 1 रुपीज, अगेन 10 रुपीज पे 1 रुपीज और 1 रुपए पे 10 पैसा. तो वो 12 रुपया 10 पैसा ऐसे भी आ सकता है डायरेक्टली. यू नीड नॉट थिंक अबाउट ऑल दैट. दैट वाज ओनली इन योर बैक ऑफ द माइंड वंस गिवन, सो दैट यू कैन नाउ रिलेट कि हाँ भैया इंटरेस्ट बढ़ रहा है. जो
Yes,
इंटरेस्ट 10 रुपया 10 रुपया 10 रुपया ही रह रहा था, एक्चुअली में जिसने लोन दिया था उसका नुकसान हो रहा था. उसका 1 रुपया
Yes, sir.
नुकसान यहाँ पर हुआ, 2 रुपये 10 पैसे का नुकसान यहाँ हुआ, और जैसे जैसे साल बढ़ते आएंगे उसका नुकसान बढ़ता जाएगा.
Add up to a huge
हाँ,
difference.
सो देयरफॉर अब देखो अमाउंट एट द एंड ऑफ थर्ड ईयर विल बी व्हाट? P3 प्लस I3, that will be 121 plus 12.1, and that makes it 133.1. Remember I said there is
Yes, sir.
130 rupees and there is
Yes, sir.
133.1 rupee now.
Yes, sir.
So this was the story which I need to tell you to explain you the compound